If you want to make this loading screen that you see on my screen right now, you're going to want to watch all the way to the end as I reveal how to do it. What's up guys, Code29 is back with a brand new video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make that exact same loading screen that you saw in the beginning of the video. So let's dive right on in, but I really quickly want to just post an announcement. I have just launched my Discord server, so make sure to head over to the link in the description to check that out. Also, make sure to check out my Patreon page while you're at it. There you can have some really cool perks, and the most popular one for these kinds of channels, you get the direct files, so you can just download these files from these videos and double click them to open them up. Now let's just go ahead and dive right on into the video. I'm going to delete what I was doing earlier, and let's just start from scratch. So, the first thing you're going to want to do is insert a local script into replicated first. Why are we using replicated first? Well, this is going to load in before the other services, so we're going to use this one first so that our loading screen loads up before the player does. Alright, let's go ahead and start writing this code. This entire loading screen is just done in one script, that's all it is. So, let's just go ahead and do this. We're going to say local players equals game dot get service players, okay? And because this is a local script, we can access the local player, so we're going to say local player equals game.players. Actually, we just say players because we've already just defined it, and just say .local player. I'm actually going to go ahead and drop these a few lines because we have a couple more things to reference here, but before we do that, I'm just going to say local player GUI equals to player colon wait for child player GUI. And now we have referenced the player and the player GUI. Now we're going to reference some services that we're going to need. We can just reference our own service, this replicated first, to make sure that it's already fully loaded in by saying local replicated first equals to game colon get service replicated first. And down here we're going to say local tween service, because we're going to be using that. As you saw, the menu kind of slid down at the end, equals to game colon get service tween service. Okay, so now we have these referenced. Then let's go ahead and create this this screen GUI. So we're going to say local screen GUI equals to instance.new screen GUI. So we're creating a brand new screen GUI. Let's just say screen GUI ignore GUI inset equals to true. What this does is it's going to, with most GUIs, when you fill it to 1, 0, like when you fill the entire screen, unless you check this property, it's still going to leave this little gap right here. So we're going to go ahead and use this property so that it doesn't do that. Then we can say screen GUI dot parent equals to player GUI. Now we've created the screen GUI, let's make this little frame that's going to hold the spiral and the text. Alright, we can say local frame equals instance.new, whoops, not in, dot new, and we're going to say frame. Then we can say frame.parent equals screen GUI, yeah. And then frame dot size, we're going to set its size equal to udem2 dot new. 1, 0, 1, 0. This is just going to size it up so it fills the entire screen. Then we can say frame dot background transparency equals to 1. The reason I'm doing this is because I don't want the frame to be visible. I just want what's inside of the frame to be visible, like the text in the background and the little spiral. Alright, now let's create the little text label. So we're going to say local text label equals to instance.new text label. Sorry, not text box. Text label. So we can say text label.size, and we're also going to set it to udem2.new 1, 0, 1, 0. This is going to again scale this so that it fits the entire screen. Next, let's say text label.background transparency. Sorry, not background transparency. Background color 3 equals color 3 dot from RGB. So this is red, green, blue. I'm going to do 0, 20, 40. So it creates this little like dark navy sort of a color. You can obviously change the color for this if you want. Just click this little color wheel and you can change it. Let's just say I wanted that, like teal color. We can go ahead and change it. But I'm going to go ahead and keep it as it was at 0, 20, 40 because I just like that a lot better. I think it looks a lot nicer. Now let's set the font. So let's say text label.text font. Sorry. .font, not text font, equals to enum.font, and then you can choose what you want here. I'm gonna go with what was in the beginning of the video. So we're gonna go Gotham semi-bold. Gotham semi-bold is what I'm gonna go with. You can change what you do for yours, but that's what I'm choosing. Then we can say text color dot text color text label dot text color 3 equals to color 3 dot new, and we're gonna say 0.8 comma 0.8 comma 0.8, and it's kind of this like whitish sort of thing. Again, you can hover over the numbers and change the color by just clicking on this color wheel button, but that's just what I'm going to go with. Now we can say text label dot text equals loading, and if you want you can add this little dot 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 here if you want, but I'm just going to stick with loading because we already have this little circle that goes around and around. It kind of already shows that we're loading. Next, let's set the text size so it's big. Text label dot text size size equals to 28. This is just a good size, and I'm taking all these numbers from the developer site. You can check that out if you want, just on the developer hub, but it's a good model, so I'm going to stick with what they have here. Last, let's just give it a parent, so text label dot parent, let's put it in the frame. The hub says to put it right in the screen GUI, but because I'm adding a tween to it at the end, that is my addition, you're going to want to do this. Now let's create the ring. This will be fun. So local loading ring, ring equals to instance dot new image label. Now we're going to want to set its size, so we can say loading ring dot size equals to udem2 dot new, and the size they have is 0,256. And then the same here, 0,256. So we're gonna make it it's even on all sides, and it's going to be kind of in the middle. It'll be directly in the middle of the GUI. Loading ring dot background transparency equals 1. That's what we're gonna do. And if you're confused, don't worry. We're gonna tween it around and around in a little bit. Next, we're gonna say loading ring dot image equals to, and then I'll have this text down in the description, so just copy and paste it because it's going to be a little tough to type it all in. It's a ton of numbers. Basically, it's just saying it's the asset ID, and we're going to grab it. Next, we're going to set its anchor point and position. This is going to position it right in the middle. So we can say loading ring dot anchor point equals vector2 dot new, and we're going to say 0.5 comma 0.5. This is going to, and then we're going to also add the position really quick. Loading ring dot position equals to udem2 dot new. So we're going to set its position 0.5 comma 0 comma 0.5 comma 0. So these two lines are going to put it right in the middle, and we're going to be able to spin it later. And the last thing is to say loading ring dot parent is equal to the frame. So we're going to put it inside the frame. We're pretty close to done. We're just going to tween it now so that it spins around and around. So let's go ahead and do that. But first, we want to say replicated first colon remove default loading screen. So that way we can get rid of the original default loading screen and replace it with our own. Now let's start setting up the tween. So we can say local tween info equals to tween info dot new. We're gonna say 4 because that's gonna be how long it's gonna go, and then we'll say enum dot easing style, and we'll say dot linear. Sorry, this is the wrong, not easing direction. Easing style dot linear. So you can choose a style, but I'm gonna go with linear, comma enum dot easing direction dot, I believe it's in, and then -1. So I believe what that does is it just kind of repeats it over and over and over. So feel free to mess around with these, change it if you want, but I would keep it as is if you want it to look just like it was in the beginning of the video. Next, let's actually create the tween. So we can say local tween equals to tween service colon create, and we'll say tween, we first have to say what we're going to tween, which is the loading ring. And then we're going to say the tween info. Oops, not with the uppercase T, because that's, Roblox is going to think it's this whole tweeninfo.new thing. And then we're going to tell it what we actually want it to do. In this case, we're going to tell it to rotate the loading around and around until it gets to 360 degrees, and it's just going to repeat that. So we can just do squiggly brackets and say rotation equals 360. Alright, perfect. That is it for the tween. Next, we can just say tween colon play. And after that, all you need to do is just check to see if the game's loaded in. Let's go ahead and wait 5 seconds. So we're going to wait 5 seconds just in case, we just kind of want it to show up a little bit longer. If we just waited until the game was loaded in, the game would probably have already loaded in by the time the character even saw the screen. So we're going to wait a few seconds so that they can see the loading screen. Then we can say if not game colon is loaded, then, so if it's not loaded in yet, we'll just say game.loaded colon wait. So we're going to wait and wait and wait until the game is loaded in. Finally, we're going to set up one more tween so that it'll go down once it's finished. So we're going to say local loading ring, sorry, not local, just loading ring dot visible equals to false. So once we're done loading, we're going to set the ring, the little spinning thing, to not be visible anymore. Then we'll say frame colon tween position. We'll say udem2 dot new 0, 0, 1, 0. That'll put it right down at the bottom of the screen. Okay. Outside of that, we'll just say comma, and we'll set the easing style the easing direction to in out, comma, and we'll go ahead and set the, I believe it's the easing style to sign, comma 0.5. Next, we can just say wait 0.5 because that's how long the tween should take. And then we'll just destroy it once it's done, so we can say frame, actually just the whole GUI, screen GUI colon destroy. And that is it. So let's go ahead and test this out. If we hit play, we should see, yep, there we go. It is loading, and once it finished loading, it tweens down really nicely. I really like how that looks, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do smash that subscribe button and click the notification bell. Make sure to head over to my Discord link and my Patreon page. And before we go, thank you so much for my very first Patreon once again. You're awesome. Make sure to head over to my Patreon page to become a Patreon today, and you can get your name shouted out at the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again next time.